He was just an ordinary guy, but after being transported to a parallel world, he becomes the strongest martial artist with the help of a level-up cheat skill. The story begins when the ancient god of war comes back to life and a 28-year-old guy named Fang Ping gets teleported 10 years back in time to a parallel universe where martial arts is everything. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself floating like a ghost in the middle of an epic battle between two Grandmaster-level martial artists named Tai and Lai. Tai unleashes his purple aura and slams Lai straight into a mountain using a powerful martial arts technique. After this, he starts celebrating his victory, but Lai shows him who's the boss by revealing his hidden technique called the Heavenly Horse Master Fist and ends up completely obliterating the other Grandmaster. After that, Fang Ping finds himself sitting in a class seat and is drenched in sweat like he just woke up from some terrible dream. He looks around, still struggling to process what just happened. The teacher announces that registration for the martial arts exam will begin tomorrow and then walks out of the classroom. He notices his classmates Yang Jian and Chen Fan and keeps staring at them. The two look back and ask why he's staring at them like that, but before he can reply, another classmate shows up with a video. In the video, a guy named Li Dali, who's a third-rank warrior, keeps bluffing about risking his life to enter the battle zone of 8th-grade warriors. He tells the viewers to remember his name if he ends up getting killed just to show them around the place. Fang sees the battlefield and realizes it's the exact same place he just saw where the two Grandmasters were fighting each other. Still clueless about what happened to the world and where all this martial artist stuff came from, he rushes to an internet cafe and starts digging through the web. He soon learns that this is actually a parallel world where martial artists rule everything. And the martial arts exam seems to be a major turning point in a person's life here. He steps out of the cafe after finding out that the registration fee is around 10,000 and the vitality pills he needs cost nearly 30,000. On the way, he comes across a wanted poster of a second-rank martial artist and then heads straight to his house in Jinggu Garden. He feels a wave of nostalgia just looking at the place and even finds a key in his pocket. As he steps inside, his sister dashes over and demands he return the money he borrowed from her. Fang pinches her face and she instantly runs off to complain to their mother. Fang then sees his father walk into the house and smiles as he takes in the sight of his family. While having dinner, he tells his father he wants to appear in the martial arts exam. His father gets up from the table and returns with an envelope full of money, telling him how serious of a commitment this choice really is. At night, Fang eavesdrops on his parents while they're doing the dishes. As his mother brings up that they've got only around 50,000 in savings, his father tells her he'll borrow some blood-boosting pills from the factory because he doesn't want to hold back their child. The next day at school, Fang's friends freak out after finding out that he signed up for the martial arts exam claiming it to be total trash. Their teacher walks into class and announces that Wang Jinyang from their school, who is now a proper martial artist, is going to visit their school. This instantly lifts the mood of the whole class, and just then the professor asks Fang, Wu, and Yang to head over to the station to pick up their senior. Later that day, while Fang lies on his bed checking the admission criteria for the upcoming exam, a drop of foul-smelling water falls on him, and he realizes the upstairs bathroom is leaking again. Just then his mom calls out, asking him to check the vitality pills his father brought. Fang quickly gets up and inspects them. The moment he holds one of the pills, a strange sensation runs through him, and he finds himself in a strange place. A panel screen appears, showing something called martial art value. He glitches back to reality and starts wondering if it was just a hallucination. He gets curious and picks up the second pill, landing in the same strange space. This time he's sure it's not a dream but something caused by the blood key pills. He realizes that he is standing on top of a statue and looks at the system panel, being confused about its contents. After touching the second pill, the martial art value displayed there seems to double. Thinking it might represent the pill's market worth, he taps on the one written in the second line indicating vital energy. A sharp wave of pain hits him as the martial art value suddenly begins to drop. This sudden fluctuation in Kai and blood catches the attention of a wanted fugitive who seems to have a woman held captive. Around the same time, Senior Wang receives word that the criminal has just entered Kangshan, and once he gets out of there, tracking him might become impossible. Senior Wang mocks the informer for scaring off the target too early and demands 500,000 martial art points. The story shifts back to Fang as his muscles tense up hard, and when he checks the martial art points, they've dropped all the way to 30,000, while his vital energy has barely gone up by just 0.1, showing a ridiculous ratio of 100,000 to 1. He shouts in frustration, wondering how many pills he would even need at that rate, and right then, his sister bursts through the door yelling at him for screaming like a lunatic. Fang is impressed that the pill didn't vanish after use and decides to name the strange place within the statue as the system. The next day arrives and Fang heads to the station along with his classmates to receive their senior. When Senior Wang shows up, one of the boys questions why he didn't come through the main exit, upon which Wang quickly hides the fact that he's been tracking the fugitive and simply claims to have arrived a bit earlier than scheduled. As Fang introduces himself, Wang feels the familiar surge of energy running through his body and tells the yellow hoodie guy, who's been bragging non-stop, that his strength matches Fang's. His classmates begin to suspect he's taken some energy pills, but Fang comes up with an excuse. They suggest Wang take the bus, but end up walking with him instead as per his request. Once they reach the school, Wang gives a solid motivational speech, hyping up the crowd. Before he leaves at sunset, he hands his contact number to the juniors who came to pick him up, telling them to reach out if they ever run into trouble. Just as Senior Wang leaves, Fang suddenly remembers that the ceiling in his room is still leaking, so he rushes off to take care of it. He knocks on the door of the neighbor living above him, and when no one answers, he turns to leave but stops as he hears a sound of glass shattering. He immediately goes back and starts calling out for his Aunt Chen who lives there. Just as Fang shouts again, a man opens the door and scolds him for making a scene. He calmly says that Aunt Chen has rented the place to him for a few days. Fang mentions the ceiling leak coming from the bathroom and assumes the new tenant might know something. The man eyes him carefully, trying to figure out if the kid knows who he really is, then invites him in to keep things cool. Fang walks for the bathroom and spots a blood-stained bandage, instantly realizing he's bumped into the wanted criminal. Sensing something's off, the man offers to heat some water and tells Fang to sit down. The criminal brings up the bounty, successfully tricking Fang into revealing that he knows about him, but before things go south, Fang manages to type a message to Senior Wang asking for help. Just then, Wang calls and Fang picks up in a panic, but before he can say much, the criminal slams him into the wall. Fang gets wrecked and struggles to stand back up. The wanted criminal realizes the city is no longer safe for him, and to erase all evidence, he reaches straight for our hero's head. But right then, something unexpected happens as Fang manages to restore his energy by trading points through the system. He dodges a couple of attacks, trying to recover the fight, but ends up getting slammed into the ground again. Just when the fugitive is about to unleash his strongest move, Senior Wang makes a stunning entry and beats the guy so hard that he passes out. Senior Wang checks if Fang is alright, then explains the backstory behind the criminal. That's when Fang suddenly remembers Aunt Chen and quickly rushes to save her. After handing the criminal over to the police, Wang gives Fang a thumbs up for holding his own against the fugitive, whose name turns out to be Huan Bin. Fang knows his system had a big hand in that fight, but decides it's better to keep it on the down low. Wang hands him the fugitive's stuff, saying he might need it for his breakthrough, and when Fang asks what the items are for, his senior happily explains that the blood key pills help raise the upper limit of one's Kai energy. Then there are the Kai and blood elixirs used for breaking through to the next level. He also mentions that each tier gets split into 4 smaller stages and goes on to fill him in with the rest of the essentials. Just then, Fang's sister shows up, throwing a storm of complaints about him not picking her up from school, but the second she spots Wang, her face lights up and she launches herself at him, begging for an autograph. After Fang heads back to his room, he checks out the items and suddenly gets glitched back into the system, where his martial arts value has skyrocketed to over 2 million, which explains why his reactions feel even more intense now. Out of nowhere, the system starts glowing and Fang realizes it must be an upgrade. The moment he merely thinks about increasing his vitality, a sharp pain surges through him, and he discovers that getting stronger now is as easy as becoming Goku. The next day at school, the rich kid starts bragging about how tough it was for him to walk a few steps to the Vitality Center that his parents bought him the machine to check it at home. He then drags Fang to his place, wanting to see if what Senior Wang said was actually true. The rich kid tells Fang to stir up his emotions and try reaching his peak value. Fang gives it his all, reaching a value of 113, which the rich kid can't believe. Our poor hero ends up spending the whole night there just to convince the rich kid that it's as real as it gets, and the day of the test finally arrives. At the test center, the examiner gives a pre-test speech about how martial artists are the pride and future of the nation, then moves on to explain the rules. He makes it clear that anyone scoring above 112 would pass and tells them to begin. Everyone starts yelling their lungs out, but once the rest go quiet, Fang keeps on screaming like a kid, refusing to stop until he turns into a Dragon Ball Z character. His testing capsule lights up bright red, and the examiner looks stunned as the score shoots up to 149, which is the same as what Senior Wang got last year. Even the rich guy is left speechless, realizing Fang had him wrapped around his finger the entire night. After clearing the test, Fang rings up his senior and asks if he's down to share some info about the university he should be aiming for. Senior Wang tells him to meet at the sports arena tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. That night, when Fang's father sees his results, he ends up crying tears of joy over how far his kid has come. The whole family gets a bit emotional, and then the story jumps to the next day. Wang congratulates our boy for clearing the exam and introduces him to his teacher's daughter, Nini. He tells her to wait on the side and then starts thinking about his master, Zhang Kingman, who once entered a portal knowing fully well that it would close behind him. But for the sake of humanity, the guy had no choice. Right before leaving to rescue some guy named Shen Quan, the master handed over the martial arts society to Wang Jinyang. Wang tried pulling a cheap move to make him stay, saying he'd just marry his daughter if the guy doesn't stay, but the master shut it down right away, calling him shameless and warning he'd break his legs since the girl was still a kid. Snapping back to the present, Wang launches a surprise attack on Fang and messes around, asking if he's satisfied with that flimsy body. Then he gets serious again and walks him through the best university options, pointing out 4 that he personally recommends since they provide everything needed for breakthroughs free of cost. After giving it some serious thought, Fang decides to go with the second school, Mo. Before long, the day of departure arrives. Fang says his goodbyes to his family, and his sister pulls a crybaby face, asking him to let her know as soon as he finds himself a bride. As the train pulls away, she runs after it, giving a clear sign that she'll miss him. Meanwhile, Wang walks alongside his master's daughter, vowing to get stronger so he can save Fang one day. Fang arrives at the university and gets absolutely blown away by the entrance when a guy with razor-sharp teeth pulls out his giant greatsword and tells him not to think getting into Mo makes him special. As he tries to figure out what stage Fang's at, Fang laughs off the disrespect with a smile and asks if he's his senior, so the blue-haired guy introduces himself as Qin Fengking. But when Fang introduces himself and mentions Nanjing, Qin frowns as his archenemy Wang's face flashes through his head and tells him to stop chatting so casually with his senior and start showing some respect. As he walks off with a sack full of resources, Qin curses Wang and vows to refine himself until he crushes both Wang and Nanjing University. Later at the reception, Fang shows his admission form to the receptionist, who is surprised to see he has second-rank bone tempering, but after running a quick test on him, she finds out he's already reached 3rd rank in just a month, something only 1 second year has managed so far. Everyone's stunned as the lady instantly starts laying out the protocol and even tells his senior Zhou Yun to escort him. After that, she leads them to Area 1 and explains that the scenery is made breathtaking on purpose to lift the students' spirits when the grind gets overwhelming. Inside the dorms, Fang heads to his room and gets pleasantly surprised by the massive space he gets all to himself. Just as he starts settling in, a blonde pretty boy from across the hall, Fu Changbing, walks in and makes himself comfortable on his sofa. With a charming smile, he asks where Fang's from, and when Fang says Nanjing, Fu's attitude shifts fast as he asks if he knows the name Wang. Fu goes on about how Wang's been breaking through like crazy and has already beaten the top fighters from 8 universities. While Fang sips a cold one, Fu notices he has 3rd-rank bone tempering and is caught off guard, his tone changing again as he admits their strength might not be that far off in a real fight. He then tells Fang not to be late for their mentor's speech in Field 1 and flashes a cheeky grin, telling him to make a bombastic debut. At the field, Qin gets pulled along by a woman to scout for any impressive freshers, and Fang shows up with his new best friend right at the last second as the clock strikes 3. Steel gates suddenly burst open and a graceful man cuts through the students' uproar and announces that any latecomers will lose half the credits granted at admission, which are worth tens of thousands of martial arts points for daring to arrive late from the start. The principal of Mo Academy makes it clear they must learn to follow every rule, and life won't be filled with roses and laughter for those set to become warriors who protect the nation. He drives the message home that joining Mo isn't their peak, but the start of a hellish race straight to the bottom. With that, he calls on the instructors, who make a flashy entrance from the sky one after another, each one more impressive than the last. While everyone stands frozen in awe at the 5 instructors, the group introduces themselves by unleashing powerful auras that blow most of the students off their feet. Taking it as a challenge, Fang gets up and fires back with an explosive introduction of his own, which catches the attention of the ratchet-looking lady who holds a grudge against his family and quietly vows to give him a hard time. Right then, Fu jumps in, refusing to be left behind, and the two start busting out over-the-top JoJo poses while braving the intense energy waves blasting against them, their confidence so irritating it starts getting on Sharp Boy's nerves. At that moment, the former principal makes a grand entrance, radiating the warm energy of a golden body master as he lands with peak aura and flawless dignity. Fu instantly realizes the man is clearly 8th rank as he launches into a speech about Mo University's legacy and something about a warrior's struggle. He goes on about how today's martial artists lack the glory their ancestors had, and then gazes into the sky with a deep look while everyone silently wonders what on earth he's yapping. Once that's over, the principal casually announces that everyone's getting a free top Kai and blood pill, which makes the crowd celebrate. Right after, he fires off another announcement saying the freshman training competition starts in 20 minutes and orders everyone to get to the training hall immediately. Fang panics as it hits him that all the freshmen, including Fu, are now his rivals. At the trading hall, Fang and Fu stare in awe at its massive size as their instructor explains that out of the 9 total floors, freshmen are only allowed on the first 4, each meant to test different skills. He then says that the floor a student ends up as the last one standing will decide which college they get assigned to, and anyone entering a floor after all 400 spots are filled will lose more than half their credits. Everyone quickly realizes the competition is basically a battle royal with every freshman turned against each other. Once the instructor adds that only wooden weapons are allowed, Fang and his buddy sprint to the entrance. Inside, weapons are grabbed and fights start breaking out all over. Without wasting a second, Fang says farewell and tells Fu he'll see him on the 4th floor. He charges straight for the stairs, brushes off a guy who tries to flatten him, then makes his way past another trio of sweaty virgins that even little girls could beat without breaking a sweat. Watching everyone flail their weapons around like idiots, even on the 2nd floor, Fang starts wondering if Wang was actually wrong about Mo's so-called competitive students. Meanwhile, a silver-haired girl on the stairs boots her opponent away like an annoying fly, but still catches him mid-fall, only for the guy to pull a cheap move and yeet her off the staircase. Her friends catch her just in time and instantly serve justice to the spineless coward. On the other side, Fu charges full speed into 4 guys like a lawnmower until 2 manage to slow him down with a decent fight. But out of nowhere, the fatty clamps onto his leg like it's a steak, giving his buddy the opening to sucker punch Fu and end his winning streak right there. Outside the control room, Qin paces furiously until the menacing instructor catches him snooping around, and he quickly throws out the excuse that he needs the principal's signature, even though he's really there to check out the guy on screen who's made it to the 4th floor first. But it turns out his friend Zhao Lei beat him to it, right after the girl squad shows up, clearly disappointed that even though the guys are supposed to be stronger, they ended up all bark and no bite. As time goes on, the floor starts filling up, and Qin mocks that the so-called strong duo is running late. After Fu knocks out an NPC challenged, Fang's entrance leaves everyone completely speechless. He mocks Fu's pathetic opponent and says loud enough for everyone to hear that he only left Nanjing because his senior claimed it was full of talent, but all he's seen are weaklings with 0 skill. The bold insult shocks everyone, and they start calling him an arrogant fool. Right after, he looks straight at the management watching and says that Mo's students are nothing but hot garbage. That's followed immediately by a PA announcement declaring that anyone who defeats Fang within 30 minutes will earn 1 credit, while his will be wiped clean. Fu finds himself forced to choose his side, but he remembers the bro code, and with that, an all-out brawl explodes across the floor. The bros stand back to back, swatting away opponents like ants and stacking up points. Seeing this, the pink-haired girl Yang Xiaomin charges in and surprises Fang with how insanely strong she's for someone who looks like a TikTok e-girl, and he ends up blocking her unstoppable finisher using another guy's face just to survive the hit. Right after, Fu tells him he needs time to process his stamina pill and asks for cover, but Fang vanishes in a blink, leaving his buddy to get completely swarmed. Meanwhile, the blue-haired girl tells Zhao and Xiaomin to take on Fang while she and Youngsi handle Fu and let the rest wear their stamina down. With that, our protagonist gets split from his partner and ends up surrounded by the attack squad as Shumei coldly orders them to break his legs. In the meantime, Fu barely holds off the wave of attackers until Shumi tanks a hit with her massive forehead, catching him off guard and slams her knee into his gut. At the same time, the management team starts analyzing how Fang got so strong despite having no family background or master, and eventually realizes he's Wang Jingyan's apprentice, who was once himself a student of legendary Zhang, the man who never returned from a mission years ago. Back in the fight, Fu's down and everyone's warned that losing will cost them half their credits, so they all close in on him. Even though Fang doesn't want to reveal the system in front of everyone, he discreetly slides a health pill that spikes his stats and leaps into the air. While the management refuses to believe any human can absorb one that fast, the timer hits 0 and Fang is declared the victor. The principal then tells everyone to remember their humiliation and show up on time for tomorrow's mentor selection. The next day, Fang and his buddy watch all the freshmen rushing toward Lionhead Tang Feng since his boxing techniques are a big hit, but Fang isn't impressed and starts checking out the other instructors. None of them catches attention until his eyes land on the strange nameplate. He remembers the lady sitting there is the same ratchet woman from the introductions. As her ridiculous list of requirements irritates her, she suddenly calls him out, saying she's his best shot since the popular mentors usually take in the seniors Wang wrecked and the juniors he humiliated, meaning the whole university is basically out for his head. The lady gives Fang a hard reality check, reminding him he has 0 backing or family ties like Fu or Zhao Lei, and says he'll have to walk the same tough path senior Wang did. Fang gets the message and asks what she offers that the others don't, so she tells him she can take him places even Lionhead can't. After he hands her his card, Tang Feng casually throws in that over half her past students bond hard before graduation, but before Fang can rethink his decision, the lady grins and registers him as her student, and Sumi follows up. After that, Fu walks over and says he remembers her name is Lu Fengru, a tough-as-nails lady even more brutal than Lionhead. The next day, she gives Fang a private lecture on cultivating all meridians in his limbs, especially his legs, since they're flimsier than wet spaghetti. He then downs the 3 pills in front of him, which instantly harden the bones in his arms. Hours into focused training, he feels a fiery power surge up his body, which turns out to be a breakthrough. Lu tells him to bring Sumi next time to start martial arts techniques, while he cheers over hitting first rank and asks for those first rank candies. She shuts him down fast to remind him vitality pills don't grow on trees and boots him out of the house. The next day, Lu meets with her 2 new students and pulls out a Bruce Lee-style kick to show them what a real strike looks like. She explains that a proper martial artist channels bone tempering into a single strike point, then tells Fang to give it a go. He throws on his big boy pants and lands a thundering kick, only for the recoil to wreck his foot so bad he won't be able to train for days. Lu casually says she forgot to mention he needs alloy boots for that. Later, he limps his way to the logistics department on crutches, whining the whole way there. He forces the cranky geezer shamelessly napping at the front desk awake to buy some boots, but the man squints at him and asks what a cripple like him could possibly need new kicks for. Once Fang clears up that he's just hurt, the geezer fully leans in and says E-rank boots will cost him about a kidney and a half worth of credits. But seeing the horror on Fang's face, the guy offers him a special deal of D-rank Yeezys for the price of 2 kidneys. A couple days later, the trio heads to the martial arts club for training, but turn to leave when they find it already in use, only for a gang of seniors to call out to Fang with a nasty tone. One long-haired guy steps up, saying that since Fang's connected to Wan, the guy who beat up his brother, he's going to settle the score with his junior. Subi warns Fang not to take the bait since he's still injured, but when the guy calls him a coward, Fang just shrugs at the muscle-brained clown, whining over his brother's butt-kicking, and accepts the challenge, knowing they'll keep harassing him if he backs down now. He hops into the ring and the club's lady referee steps in. The first opponent complains Wang put him in bed for 3 months and cost him his 3rd rank, but Fang tells him to stop yapping and start fighting. The fuming guy charges up a fiery aura and his fist flies dangerously close to Fang's face as they exchange heavy blows. Fang lands a solid kick, but it barely phases the guy, who then slams back with a punch that Fang can't fully block and nearly snaps both his arms. Without giving him a moment to breathe, the man rains down punches while Fang barely dodges and starts begging the kind sir not to bash his skull in, since he clearly has no clue how to actually fight. That wishy-washy attitude ticks the guy off even more, so he throws a lightning-fast roundhouse kick that leaves Fang wide open. Just then, Teacher Lu reminds him to channel transformation of force through his feet, and that advice lets him float mid-air using the force. He dashes forward in a flash, and one clean kick to the chest sends the towering guy to dreamland. As Fang winces from the pain, Longhair starts rambling about his poor brother again, but Lu shuts it down instantly and exposes him in 4K that his brother was just a trash-tier bully who got duped and turned to scamming juniors for cash, but Longhair says he isn't afraid to kick an injured man down for revenge. That is until Wang steps through the door and tells the loser to try picking on someone his own size. Later during dinner that night, Fang asks Wang why he suddenly showed up. Wang casually replies that it was just a coincidence and credits it to his senior kin. He then tells our hero about the upcoming National Freshman Exchange Competition, where 99 martial arts schools will be going head-to-head for resources, and asks him to start getting ready to take part in it. The next day in the conference room, the mentors discuss the upcoming martial arts competition, which is apparently being hosted by Mo itself. They explain that the school that wins will receive a massive 20% boost in their annual resource allocation. Tang Feng tells the freshmen that to keep things fair, they'll be the ones competing this time. Lu jokes that if the school really wants resources, Vice Principal Wu Kushen should just fight himself. Tang shuts her down, explaining how Wang's constant victories over their 3rd-tier students have made the school a laughingstock, and it's time they earn their pride back. He then orders the 10 new students to hit the peak of 1st-tier strength by the end of the month and make sure they turn things around. Soon after, the training begins, and the newbies take on a mission to capture top-level rebel warriors, with 30 credits per head as reward. The mission ends with each of them receiving shiny new weapons, and Fang ends up with a spear. While Fang is testing out his new weapon, his teacher shows up and tells him to stop cultivating like he's trying to break everything. She then gives him a sword technique called Blood Burst Blade by Governor Zhang and asks him to train well with it. The story jumps ahead, and the day of the grand competition finally arrives. The host makes a flashy entrance, shooting down from the sky and revealing himself as Liu Horong. He warns the crowd that this isn't some celebrity concert, so they better not cause trouble. Turns out Fang's sister has also shown up to cheer her brother on,